going to tell you the story about the Sphinx and the prince. There was once a prince in Egypt called Thutmose, who was a son of Pharaoh Amenhotep. He had many brothers and stepbrothers, and because he was the Pharaoh's favorite son, they were forever plotting against him. Sometimes they would try to make the Pharaoh think that Thutmose was unworthy of the throne. And sometimes they would try to make the people and the priests think that he was too lavish or did not honor the gods at all. And from time to time, they would even try to kill him. All this made Thutmose really unhappy and troubled. He spent less and less time in Memphis or in Thebes, and more frequently had he gone on to expeditions at the edge of the desert to hunt. And even if the Pharaoh tried to command his presence or his position at some festival, he would try to slip away with a few servants or even alone in disguise. Thutmose was skilled in all manly exercises. He was an expert bowman who could plant arrow after arrow after arrow at the center of the target. He was an expert charioteer. He had many horses that could go for miles and miles faster than the wind. Sometimes he would course antelopes for miles into the stretchy desert. At others, he would seek the most savage of lions into their lairs, just above the banks of the Nile. One day, when the court was in residence in Memphis for the Festival of Rain, Thutmose escaped from the pomp and pageantry to hunt at the edge of the desert. He took with him only 2 of his servants and drove in his chariot up the steep road past the Sahara, past the scented trees and the cultivated land by the Nile, and faded into the sandy and rocky lands. They first set off at the first glimmer of dawn so that the midday heat wouldn't catch up to them. They coursed northwards parallel to the Nile, but a few miles after it. By the time the sun grew too hot for hunting for Thutmose and his 2 servants, they settled under some palm trees not too far from the pyramids of Giza. Thutmose, desiring to be alone and wanting to pray to the god Hermetes, he entered his chariot and bid his servants to wait for him as he went into the desert. Away sped Thutmose as he felt the firm and smooth sand underneath his chariot, and at last he drew nearer to the pyramids of Khufu, Khafra, and Menkaura. Thutmose gazed in awe at the sight of the 3 pyramids, but what caught his attention was the colossal head and neck of stone that was rising up from the sand. This was a colossal carving of Hermetes, the god of the rising sun. In the form of a lion with the pharaoh's head, had he become the hunter of the followers of Set. Khafra had caused this Sphinx to be carved out of solid stone, and he had bidden his sculptors to shape his head and face in the likeness of Hermetes. During the long centuries after Khafra had been buried in his great pyramid, the sands of the desert had been blowing against the Sphinx and has been buried underneath it. Only its head and neck and the ridge of its back can be seen. For a long while, Thutmose was looking at the majestic face of the Sphinx. The noonday sun beat mercilessly onto Thutmose as he was still praying to the god Hermetes for all of his troubles. Then suddenly the stone image seemed to stir. It was as if it was having trouble underneath the sand. It was trying its hardest to shake off the sand from its shoulders. No longer were the eyes carved and inlaid with lapis lazuli. It was as if it had life in it. It was looking down upon Thutmose in a great voice, and yet he was talking kindly, like a father talking to his son. "Look upon me, Thutmose, the prince of Egypt. I am your father, Hermetes, the god of the rising sun, the father of all pharaohs. It rests with you to become pharaoh indeed, and wear upon your head the double crown of the south and the north. It rests with you whether or not you sit upon the throne of Egypt, and whether the peoples of the world will kneel before you in homage to you, together with the tribute from all countries of the world. Besides all of this, long years of life, health, and strength shall be yours. Thutmose, my face is turned towards yours. My heart inclines to be with you. But sea as sand is around me. It smothers me and it holds me down. It hides me from your eyes. Promise me you will do a good son should do for his father. Prove to me that you are my son by helping me. Draw near to me and I will be with you. I will guide you and I will make you great. As Thutmose stepped forward, the sun seemed to shine into the Sphinx's eyes, and his vision became black. Slowly, he rose to his feet, and everything from his vision came running back to him. "Harmichi is my father," he cried. "I call upon all the gods of Egypt to bear witness my oath. If I become pharaoh, my first act of reign is to free you from this sandy prison, and build a shrine to you and set it in stone, in the writing of Khem." Then Thutmose turned to seek his chariot and rode back into the desert. And a moment later, he found his servants desperately searching for him. Thutmose rode back to Memphis, and from that day onward, everything went well with him. Very soon, Amenhotep the pharaoh proclaimed that Thutmose will be the next heir to the throne. And not very long afterwards did Thutmose become king of Egypt, one of her greatest kings. That is all.